It's quite early here at the Capsule Hotel and everyone else is still in pod. It's a fairly cheap and cheerful option for a short stay and I slept okay, but I don't think I'm going to repeat it. But one plus point is that it's only a short walk to Copenhagen's lovely central station. And I do love the big logo here on the southwest frontage. The entrances on this side aren't imposing and we just climb the stairs to enter the concourse which stretches right across the 12 platforms below. Stepping outside, the northwest entrance has a wonderfully quaint digital clock. And then, coming back inside, the entrance hall is also a lovely space. And then we turn left and head on up towards the northeast entrance. Oh, and here's a lovely little model railway that shows 2 Danish stations. Then outside, across the main road, are the famous Tivoli Gardens. And looking back, we see the ends of this double-arched concourse giving that solid Nordic-looking brick. The wooden spans really are something. Of course, in the UK, you'd be much more likely to see these in iron. But the wooden arch construction of the roof is immediately both impressive and beautifully Nordic. Indeed, I read this is called National Romantic Style, which is a kind of Nordic Art Nouveau. Mark and I have agreed to meet under one of the chandeliers. Now, Mark has not had a great time in the Capsule Hotel, and I think rough is a good description of how he feels this morning.
It certainly is a lovely station. One thing is that I'm not travelling alone today. So, apparently he's not got any coffee yet.
Yeah, I had to make it myself.
What? At the 7-Eleven?
Yeah. She gave me a receipt and said, go around the corner and make it yourself. And it's like, oh my god. Somebody, I don't need that at this time in the morning. But yeah, anyway.
Ordinarily, he's absolutely great company. Should we try again in half an hour?
Yeah.
But first, where are we going, Mark?
Malmö. Because we have to change these days. And now when I took the trip, the video is on my channel, then we went all the way from here in Copenhagen on the X2000. But unfortunately not today, so we've got to make a little bit of a change in Malmö, I believe. I'm not filming this. Mr. Hoover's organising it.
Right, so we've worked out which one we're getting. We're getting the RE1028 at 7:44. We've both toggled on our trips on the Interrail Pass and first class trip to Malmo. Come on. Got one comment, Mark, that I don't think you can call platform 26 a platform at this station if it's 15 minutes walk from here. That seems like a platform with a difference.
15 minutes walk?
15 minutes walk.
When I took the X2000, I did have to walk out, but not for 15 minutes by any means. And yeah, I was actually outside, or certainly outside of the canopy, the station canopy. Yeah. And it did seem like a remote platform. But no, it wasn't 15 minutes away. But that's when the X2000 was running from here, and it's quite a long train. Whether that's got anything to do with it.
I'm going to leave Mark to nurse his coffee and I'm going to get out onto the roadway because I think there's a good view from up there. And don't the platform canopies look lovely both from up on the bridge, but then also from down on the platform looking up. Anyway, here's our train for the short hop to Malmö, and it's a Class X31K EMU. The train is busy on this Wednesday morning, but there's lots of space in first class. I'm quite excited to be crossing the bridge, and I'm sure many of you will have also watched that wonderful Scandi Noir detective series of the same name. As we exit past the Copenhagen rail yards, there's lots to see, and then, a little later, we track alongside one of their rather dowdy-looking metro trains. But inside, Mark is letting the caffeine do its work, and I get to enjoy a Danish pastry in Denmark. And I wonder, in Denmark, maybe they're just called pastries. Once past the airport, we're soon through the tunnels, heading us out into the bay. Then we cross the man-made island before starting the Oresund bridge itself. Now, this combined rail and road bridge was opened in July 2000, 3 months ahead of schedule. The main span is a cable-stayed bridge 1,092 metres long, which has a clearance of 57 metres above the water level to allow for ships to pass underneath. Now, both the eastern and western approach bridges are made up of 49 steel trusses on concrete piers, and it takes us over 3 minutes to complete the crossing. There's a couple more stops, and then, as this is a through train, we finally enter Malmö's subterranean platforms. These through platforms are very stark and clinical, but I do like the weird train window video effect they have going on the wall. Anyway, Mark and I must now access the terminus platforms above for our Stockholm train. We've got plenty of time, as it's only 8:30 in the morning and our train will be departing at 09:07. Mind you, as you can see, it's already at the platform, although the doors are locked right now.
So we've done our connector and here we are at Malmö, and the 907's already in, although I don't think any doors are open yet. Looks pretty nice. Definitely got an Amtrak look about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely not inside. It's got more of an IKEA look about it.
While Mark just has a quiet sit, I'm going to step outside and have a look at the station. Well, there has been a station here since 1856, and that bell tower has been retained from that station. Although the rest, it was rebuilt in 1872, with a further 4 more tracks and a train shed being added in 1891. Inside, there seems to be lots of original features that are now going to be integrated into a new food court. Anyway, back on the platform, Mark informs me that the doors are open. So whilst we find our seats, let's look at this second leg of the day. And to avoid pronunciation errors, I've enlisted my Swedish friend Elin to say the names of the stations for you. Right, we're going to leave Malmö and then call at
Lund Central, Hässleholm Central, Alvesta, Nässjö, Linköping, Norrköping, Stockholm Central.
Thank you very much, Elin. Oh, and her voice may well pop up later on in the trip too. It's going to be a journey of 597 kilometres or 371 miles, and we'll be settled into these lovely seats for 4 hours and 25 minutes. Now, considering the number of curves on the line, that average speed of 135 kilometres per hour is pretty good and a testament to the tilting technology of the train. And spot on 9:07 we pull away from the platform. The acceleration is pretty good, and not long after we pass the sugar factory, we're already doing around 115 miles per hour. But it's only a 9-minute run to Lund Central, so we're soon slowing to a stop at our first intermediate station.
Lund Central.
And with all the new passengers at Lund, nearly every seat, even in first class, is now occupied.
Stångby.
As we get going, and well, the scenery isn't all that exciting, let's talk about our X2000 train. Well, for a start, they're actually classed as X2s, but when they were introduced in the 1990s, the marketing referred to them as X2000, as remember, everything in those days was looking forward to the looming millennium. And besides, the units were numbered in the 2000 series. Our power car today is 2011. When launched in 1990, the trains were first class only. However, now they're configured with a power car and I think 6 passenger coaches, one of which is a driving trailer and another also housing the bistro. The active tilt was developed primarily for passenger comfort. These trains actually employ what is known as radically steered or soft bogies, and that enables faster cornering. However, without the tilt, this would be very uncomfortable for passengers. Anyway, all that chat about the train has got us to our next stop at
Hässleholm Central.
This is a busy junction where 3 other routes converge in on our main north-south line. And there wasn't actually a settlement here until the coming of the railway in 1860. Oh, and the title on the thumbnail? Well, it refers to the earliest marketing from SJ that announced X2000, easier than flying, faster than the train. Which I suppose highlighted the desire for modal shift from both air and the previous more conventional trains. I stare out of the window as the pleasant farmland drifts by. Although Mark, he's using the Wi-Fi to make some final checks for his upcoming travels.
Killeberg. Älmhult.
These seats really are just like cosy armchairs, and Mark makes use of them to catch up a little of the sleep that he lost in the capsule hotel, and we continue to cruise on at 200 kilometers per hour.
Next stop Alvesta, and in Alvesta we arrive at track 2. And you will find the platform on the left-hand side in your moving direction.
Alvesta.
Alvesta is another junction station where east-west lines meet our north-south line, and we meet a southbound service. Oh, and I love these canopies with their sturdy wood construction. Okay, it's time for a seat tour, and first up, these really are very spacious seats indeed. There's electric recline and a reading light. And the pull-down table, as demonstrated by my lovely assistant, is both large and sturdy, featuring an indent for cups, but you can also use the cup holders which sit above the 2 European plugs. Each seat has a pocket containing a couple of in-flight magazines. Now, Mark enjoyed the pictures, but I think I preferred this little bit of Sweden that I brought from the UK.
Lammhult.
It seems the further north we get, the more lakes there are to see. Sweden certainly is a watery country.
Stockaryd.
One thing that often happens is the 2 running lines appear to separate, so I suspect the ground here is pretty boggy in places. And then it's time for another lakeside view.
Skrapstasjön.
And at the end of the lake we get our tilt on.
Storesjön.
The next station will completely beat any attempt I make at Swedish place names.
Nässjö.
Mind you, it is another busy north-south and east-west junction, where we catch up an X11 regional EMU.
Solberga, Anebysjön, Aneby, Ralången.
Now, Mark and I were travelling on an Interrail pass. However, booking about a week in advance an adult first-class ticket could cost as much as 1,905 Swedish krona. However, a second-class ticket goes down to 995. We will have a quick look at second class later and you'll see that is not a bad deal. As we get further along, the countryside seems to be getting a bit more interesting, and there's still a lot of water about. The railway we're riding now is known as the Southern Main Line. It runs for 483 kilometres from Malmö up to the junction with Katrineholm, where it will join the Western Main Line for the run into Stockholm. The first part from Malmö to Lund opened in 1856. The whole line was completed by 1874. It's interesting to read that the route actually avoided some population centres in a deliberate attempt to encourage further development of the land along the way, which of course we have seen at Hässleholm. It was also specifically routed away from the coast to make it less vulnerable to military attack.
Linköping.
Linköping is known as the Flight City, as it is home to the manufacturing facilities of the Saab Aerospace Company. And by the looks of this quick glimpse, the city also has a lovely old station. And once away from the station, we must cross the river in order to continue our journey to the capital.
Linghem.
We're both feeling a bit peckish now, so let's make a trip up to the bistro. As you can see, whilst the train manager said earlier that we were fully booked, there looks to be quite a lot of free seats here and there. Just on Mark's right here is the crew compartment, and then we're into the bistro. And the bistro has some tables to stand at, but mostly you just queue up and pay for your food and drink at the end. And there really is a great selection. These include hot meals that you can put in the microwave and also some Czech beer. Although as I bought a sandwich at Malmö station, I'm just going to have this yoghurt pot. And once I've paid, on the way back let's have a look at this second class seat. Well, these ones, which are effectively standard Premier, aren't much different from first class. They're just obviously a little bit narrower. The tray table is as good, and there's still 2 power sockets under the just 1 cup holder. They are still incredibly comfortable with great support and an electric recline. So this really is a lovely second class product, although to be fair I think these are more a standard Premier offering.
Norrköping.
I've added my own fruit and nuts to the yoghurt, although I think I should have added licorice too for that real Scandinavian experience. There's also KISS double-deck EMUs here, so it definitely feels like the population density is higher and we're getting nearer to the capital. We've got a tight left turn to make now, as we're going to be heading straight north here in order to meet the Western Main Line at Katrineholm. And we also pass over the E4 motorway, which, being more modern, takes a far more direct route to Stockholm. It's a bit more hilly along here, so there's 1 or 2 tunnels. But don't get excited, this isn't Switzerland. The hills here range from about 90 metres to 130 metres above sea level.
Näknen.
Still, there's always another lake to pass, or indeed to cross.
Nedre Vekmangen.
We'll be tracking National Route 55 for some time, and of course it's always good when the train overtakes the traffic. Because after all, the X2000 is still making pretty decent progress.
Katrineholm.
So now we're on the Western Main Line, and oh, there appears to be a lovely old roundhouse here. Mark has kindly fetched me yet another cup of tea, and judging by what's on the table, I reckon that must be my 3rd of the trip. All free, of course.
Flen.
I thought it was worth pausing the video at Flen Station. Isn't it a beauty? Oh, and that sign confirms we've got 111 kilometres left to travel. And there's always time for more water and more tilting as we race along to Stockholm.
Gnesta. Gärna. Södertälje Syd.
The view from the viaduct over the canal really is special. This has been a great trip and a comfortable journey. A chance for a nap and some food with free drinks and snacks has perked up Mark no end. We even get a smile.
Flemingsberg. Stuvsta. That's my old local station. Stuvsta.
Looks like we're going to be losing out to the Stockholm local X60. But of course, they have to stop at the next intermediate station, and we are just going to breeze on through.
Älvsjö.
We are swooping over the carriage sidings and the freight yards. And then we're on to one of the Örstar bridges across the waterway, as of course Stockholm is a city made from islands.
Stockholm Central.
So finally, by the timing on my GoPro, we pull in just 4 minutes behind schedule, which is absolutely fine by us. This has been a really relaxing trip. It has been definitely easier than flying and definitely faster than the train. Well, at least the train we just overtook. And for their age, these X2000s still really do their job well. So here we are, Stockholm Central, or Central. I don't know how you pronounced it actually, but I'm sure voiceover people will get it right. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a nice sort of 3-4 hour blast from Malmö. And yeah, it tilted and went. You mentioned just now that it was starting to make you feel a little queasy.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, and maybe that's just how I'm feeling today.
He's a bit under the weather, if you've noticed.
But yeah, it's nice to get some fresh air now in Stockholm, although we're not going to be here for very long, are we?
So yeah, that's the wrap-up of this one, that we're actually here at Stockholm, and in fact, we're both going to Helsinki, and I'm going to go Viking, and you're going to go
Silja Line.
Yeah, so we will be meeting again tomorrow morning in Helsinki, and yeah, we will follow up the video. Oh look, here comes a train. So there we are, effectively